What's good, everyone? You tuned in to Mike Sarge TV. Today, we have a special guest. I'm really excited to talk to her. Matter of fact, I would have talked to her sooner, but I've been bugging lately, so we gonna work on that. I'll keep praying for your boy. So, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, can you just give a quick intro of who you are and what got you in this arena we call music?
Yeah, so I am Sabrina. Sabrina Vaz-Holder is what I still call myself because a lot of people know me as Sabrina Vaz when I started out, and then I got married
Mhm.
to Quinnell Holder. I am, shoot, I wear a lot of hats. So I am a social media manager. I'm also a marketing expert. I used to do a lot of admin work for a record label before all that. I used to be in radio. I used to be a midday announcer on an FM station and a producer at Sirius XM Radio. I used to be a photographer for a few brands, and I used to also manage a sneaker store. A lot of people don't know that. So yeah, I wear a lot of hats. And then outside of that, on the personal side, I am a mom now of two. Just had my son this past October. Still can't believe that's happened.
Congratulations.
Um, and I have a 5-year-old daughter. She turned 6 in March. And I'm a wife, and I'm also active in our church. I am a youth leader for high school girls. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. How I started out, photography. That's what got me
Hmm.
into the door. Yeah. So in 2000, so I tapped into photography like when I was in middle school. I was using my dad's old school Nikon film camera. Fast forward, I started college in '07 at Old Dominion University, and I needed money. Now, I didn't have to work, but I would just, the way my parents brought me up, like, I just wanted to work and make sure I always had cash on hand. And so I just started doing like photos and stuff for people, like little portrait photography here and there. And then fast forward in 2009, uh, this is such a funny story. I had a really bad breakup, and the person that I broke up with, he was like, just start a website. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to. And the reason why he said that is because he was also a music artist at the time, and him and his group were like pretty much all over the place in Richmond and all throughout Virginia. And so I started a music blog, and it was called MA Tunes. It stood for Music Anonymous Tunes. And I bring that up because that is a huge reason why me and my husband now had we met. And so in 2009, I started taking the photography even more serious and not just doing portrait photography for like families here and there, but then I started doing photos for concerts. And I would just hit up artists and be like, "Hey, I see you're in town." Or I would hit up their managers. "I see that you guys are going to be in town. You guys need a photographer. I won't charge. You can use photos. Just tag me on social media whenever you use it." And usually I would get the green light. And then for the times that I needed photos for my own website, I would like take photos of portraits of the artists or stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then I ended up meeting my husband at Richmond at the Camel. I don't know if people are aware of the area in Richmond, Virginia, but the Camel's like right outside of ECU.
Hmm.
And we actually met there at a Tabby Benet concert. I don't know if people know Tabby Benet too much. Do you even know who Tabby is?
No, I do not.
Oh, so there's this song, you probably will recognize the song when you look it up, but it's called Put Me in the Pocket, and it was like super like popular on MTV back when music videos were like a thing. And so he got known for that, and he's actually from DC. Like he was even like my friend that I worked with at the sneaker store. He was his science teacher, and then like fast forward, he ended up like working with Wiz Khalifa and like all these different artists and stuff. He
Hmm.
owns like like this huge like farm out in somewhere in, I can't remember, somewhere out in like Africa. I can't remember where, but anyway. So we met there at the concert, and we became friends. We started working together, and then fast forward, we started dating, and then he was like, "Hey, I have a website too, and I need somebody to shoot interviews for me. I can't always go because I either have to work or I just can't get to it. Would you be willing to help me?" And I was like, "Yeah." So here I am, his girlfriend, driving my dad's minivan and going to these interviews. I'm giving you the faster version. It's like
That's cool.
this is a whole, like, it's a long story. But like fast forward, I like helped him get interviews with like ASAP Rocky,
Mm.
with Earth Gang, like right before they got signed to J. Cole, and then I helped him interview who else? It was Lupe Fiasco, um, a bunch of people. And so like we were able to like put those together. So photography led me then to videography, then it led me to video editing. And then um he was like, "Hey, I know you dropped out of school." This is my husband speaking to me, by the way. "I know you dropped out of school. You should go back to school. You might as well finish. You only have 2 years left." And I was like, "All right, fine." So I went back to school. Plus it helped he lived in Hampton and the school was in Norfolk and it was only like 30 minutes away. So it was like, why not? And then I started doing radio there. So I did college radio and I had my own college radio show. And I was like, this is fun. I can do this. And so I interned at an FM station in Fredericksburg, which is about like an hour south of DC. And they basically threw me in the production studio like the first week I was there, and they were like, "We're going on vacation. Have fun." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, okay. So I learned about, yeah. So I learned about barters, like how to set up barters and stuff. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like these are companies that will get ad space or something in the radio in return. Like it's just like barter system, like we'll give you this if you give us this space. So that's what I was doing a lot of, and I did a lot of like promotions at that station and stuff. So that was fun. I was driving like the promotions van, this little girl driving this giant van. Like I did all the things. I'm like, wow, God, you really just threw me out there. So I graduated college in 2013. And then I started working for a sneaker store. And then they bumped me up to assistant manager. And then I was like, hey, you guys need a social media manager? And they were like, yeah, for corporate, sure, why not? So fast forward, they basically hired me to work at their corporate office at in Maryland.
Mm.
While that same week I got hired for that, I then got hired to be a board operator at SiriusXM in DC.
Oh wow.
And so at that
Whew.
time, me and my husband weren't married yet. And so I was like, hey, babe, I got offered 2 jobs. It's all up like north. Let's get married. And he was like, let's do it. Because we always talked about it. And that's literally how we proposed to each other.
That's funny.
We always talked about it. We were like, this is the perfect time. Like, I'm about to move up north. Like, let's just go ahead. And so we got married in June of 2014, and then I started work like the end of that month. And so I was working full time at both of these places. No, I lied. I was working part time first at Sirius, full time at the sneaker store,
Mm.
corporate office, doing social media management and photography for them. And then at SiriusXM, like I said, board operator. And then I got promoted to producer and then got full-time hours. And
Mm.
so I quit the sneaker store and transitioned fully to SiriusXM. That job itself got me in the door because I had my own SiriusXM email. When I saw that one of my favorite artists, Jadakiss, was going to be partnering SiriusXM for his Top 5 Dead or Alive tour,
Hmm.
I just used my email. I was like, hey, I am a producer at SiriusXM, but I'm also a photographer. Would you guys like somebody to come and take photos? And the manager connected me with his name was Ice Pick. He passed away, so rest in peace, Ice Pick. He connected me with brother Hassan, who was Jadakiss's tour manager. I think he still is. And then I linked up with them. I think they were performing in Silver Spring at the Fillmore, and I shot the photos. And no, was it? It was at Baltimore. Sorry,
Mm.
it was at Baltimore, and I shot the photos there. And we didn't get to like meet face to face, but then when I sent the photos to brother Hassan, he was like, "Yo, these are dope. Did your husband shot like he's like your husband shot these?" I was like, "No, I shot them." Because they couldn't really comprehend that a white female like would be in this
Would be
area
in
like
that
taking
space.
photo. Exactly. So
Yeah.
so he was like, "Yo, this is dope." He was like, "Can you and hubby like come down to Norfolk, Virginia tonight?" So because I shot the photos the night before, sent it
Hmm.
to them, and then like first thing in the morning, he was like, "Would you and hubby be able to come to Norfolk to shoot these photos again for us at the Norva in Norfolk?" And I looked at Q and I was like, "Bae, you want to meet Jadakiss? He was like, yeah. I said,
Right.
they want me to
Right.
I said they want me to go down to the north. He was like, let's go. This was
Yeah.
great. We were young, didn't have kids, no
Right.
dog yet. Like
Say less.
we just hopped in the car, drove from Silver Spring, Maryland to Norfolk, Virginia. For those of you that don't know, I know you know this, Mike. It's
Mm.
a hike.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
so
still
we
a
did
move.
that. And when I got to meet Jadakiss and Brother Hassan face to face, and then like that's what then led me into the door with like being able to shoot the locks at the I know people don't really want to talk about it now, but the Bad Boy Entertainment reunion and all that. So I got to shoot their photos there. And it was at the DC and the Baltimore stop for that. Um, and then that also led me to putting together a photo exhibit for the Bad Boy reunion tour in DC at the Blind Wino, which was like super big. I almost quit photography that day. I'm not really gonna speak on why, but you could just imagine. Just being around certain people, I was like, I ain't about this life. Like people just, yeah, they were running scared. It was just a lot. But um, then after that, Q started tour managing for a designer, and he was also managing this artist named IDK. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He also teaches classes at, I think, I don't want to misquote the university, but he teaches classes at a university sometimes. Um, but he was tour managing designer, and they had a gig for Pitbull's New Year's Eve performance. This was, I think, New Year's Eve for 2000, New Year's show for 2017. So New Year's Eve, I got there, and I was still working at Sirius, and that night just opened up our eyes to a lot of things. That was like, hey, we're doing work for everybody else when we could just be working for ourselves. And so a lot of things happened that got allowed, and we just were like, you know what? I looked at Q. I was like, I'm ready to like put my 2 weeks notice to SiriusXM and do this full time with you with the agency. At the time, it was called Media and PR Agency. Q started that in 2015, so like a little bit less than a year of us being married. He started that. I made him get like
Mm.
the business license, which I'm glad, because if I hadn't, he wouldn't been able to get paid by a record label that he started working with the week after.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it was Medium PR agency, and then in New Year's Eve 2016, we were just like talking about like, me quitting Sirius and him leaving tour management and stuff, and then we made the decision in January, and I kid you not, I feel like a lot of people would be like, "Wow, I can relate to this." The week that I was leaving SiriusXM, I think we had like $25 in our bank account.
Mm.
And I was like, God, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And like
Whew.
I'm just like, and uh I, I think about it now, I'm like, wow, like God really let us fall on our faces a lot, but at the same time he also carried us, because to this day, 2017, I went full time. He
Mm-hmm.
went full time as freelancers. To this day, we've still been able, even through the pandemic, we've been able to still work. And there's been a lot of times that we thought we were like not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And God just continues to pour into us, while also shaping our faith and making us get better. Um, so yeah, so in during the pandemic, because we had like an office space in the DMV area in Arlington at Crystal City. We ended up changing the name to Medium Creative Agency shortly after that, um, because we did more than public relations. We were doing a whole bunch of social media management, photography, video, branding, marketing, all this stuff. So Q was like, let's just switch it to Medium Creative Agency.
Mm.
And then in 2018, June 2018, we moved to Fredericksburg, and that's actually when I had gotten pregnant with our daughter. And this was like right after I took like some portrait shots for like Jada Kiss and them for when they did that collab with Hypnotic. I don't know if you remember that.
That
Um,
was what year was that? That was
2018.
18. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
the photos that you saw, those were the photos that I shot.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So like
Wow.
right after the week I got back from that with Q, I found out
Mhm.
I was pregnant. And then that's when I was like, oh, I need to sit down and not do anything. Fine. Just when I felt like my career was taking off.
Right.
But that's how God works with me. Because with me, like I am a worker and so is
Mhm.
Q. The way that like God really like makes us hear him, he makes us sit down. And so he was like, yeah, exactly. And although like having a child is not an interruption, it's a blessing, but it is an interruption. I mean, it was an interruption for me and Q because we were like, we have everything going on, and then all of a sudden I'm pregnant. And so super grateful, like love our daughter to death and especially our son now. But yeah, I sat down from like June 2018 up until like April 2019. She was born in March 2019. But April, I started getting the itch again. I'm like, listen, this is cool, but I need to do something. And so I just started doing like reach outs because my husband was like a partners he was a tastemaker for Audio Mac. And so he was doing like a lot of like playlisting for like DMV, what was it called? Hometown DMV, something playlist or whatever. And so I was helping him get more artists to get onto the platform because Audio Mac was so pretty, like new at the time.
Right. Because I'm assuming SoundCloud was still running the game at that point.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So in right before, let me backtrack a little bit. Right before I started helping him with Audio Mac around April 2019,
Mhm.
the year before that, it was just right before I got pregnant. We went on our 21 days of prayer and fast with our church. And I was like, I'm going to fast from food, but I'm also going to fast from certain music I listen to.
Mm.
And so, because I was like, I feel like Christian hip hop is so corny. This was me in 2017. I was like, it's so
2017.
corny. Yeah, I was like, it's not. I was like, but I'm not listening to anything secular. I hate that word, by the way, but I'm not listening to anything secular. So I was like, I'm just going to do that for 21 days. I'm going to give you all my attention, God.
Mhm.
And he just is like, the one thing that God does with me is because I have this, I don't know if you're aware of spiritual gifts, but I have a spiritual gift of knowledge. And the one thing about
Mm.
that is like when God wants to get my attention, he'll like give me a little something and then I go down the rabbit hole, just like learning about it. And so I was like, okay, let me try this Christian hip hop thing, right?
Mhm.
Because I was like, I'm not into worship music right now. I need something to like give me hype.
Yeah.
And I ran into this artist named Daraj.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, this is actually not bad.
Mhm.
And then from Daraj, then I go into Derek Minor. And I'm like, huh,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
And then I run into Canon. And then I run into like, da. Because like, this is no disrespect for whoever's listened to this. Lecrae was cool, but he wasn't my cup of tea at the time.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and so like when I found out these other artists that were doing similar things and they had like this grit to them,
Underground
and
feel.
yes, I was like, ooh, I like this. And then I ran into like 1K Few and then What Up RG, and I'm like, yo, these guys are fire. And so I'm like telling Q about it, and Q's like, yeah, that's cool, right? Because Q's like just focused on his work, right?
Uh-huh.
And so when I was helping out in April 2019, now fast forward back to what I was talking about before,
Mhm.
I was like, yo, these guys need to be on Audio Mac. And so I reached out to Daraj. I was like, hey, I own this agency with my husband. He is a collaborator for Audio Mac. Not sure if you heard of them, but your music needs to be here. I feel like you guys have like an untapped market in this right here. And he was like, hey, reach out to my manager who I'm also signed to, Doc Watson. His name is Jacob Makish, but yes. And I was like, okay. So I reached out to Doc, and Doc was like, okay, this is cool. And so we got on a call because I don't know if you know who Doc is, but he's very personable. Yes, shout out RMG. And he was like, yo, this is cool. And so we just were like going back and forth. Well, every once in a while he will like tap back in and he's like, "Hey, I feel like you have like a lot of connections." And he was like, "I feel like you got an ear for this too." So he would like ask me certain things and like he like told me about how they were South by Southwest and stuff like that. And so I would like give him like my feedback and then help them like the Audio Max stuff. And then in what was it? I think it was like a year after that. So it was like right before the world shut down.
Mm.
What was that? It was March 20. I remember because it was the weekend of my daughter's first birthday.
When
The
things
world shut down with COVID.
when things officially shut down, I'd have to say
It was like March 14th or something, right?
yeah, because like for a while we kept pushing it off like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I'd say March is
Yeah.
probably yeah.
Yeah, because Q was telling me something was going on when he went to the Grammys in January or December or something like that. And he was like, there's something weird going on. And then fast forward, like you said, because they kept pushing it back, and then they officially
Hmm.
shut the world down
Hmm.
that weekend. I think it was like March 14th, 2020. Well, Doc had reached out to me. He was like, hey, I really like your vibe. I really need somebody to help me out in the label. You love doing admin stuff. I hate doing admin stuff. Would you be willing to come on? I was like, if I'm gonna work for somebody, I want to make it worth it. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
can you pay me this a month? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And I told Q, I was like, hey, I got a part-time gig at RMG. Q was like, that's dope. And you could do it from home. I'm like, yeah. So here
Mm.
I am. Everybody's like freaking out because they're how are they gonna work? And then I just started a brand new job with RMG.
That's dope.
So shout out to Doc and like grateful for him to this day
Hmm.
because of him like and I'm sure it was God that put that in his mind, but because of him being obedient to it and hiring me, not knowing if it was going to work out or not, I worked with him or the label for like I want to say 2 years.
Mm.
Um and so like he had me help him a lot with the RMG Amplify section of the label, which basically was like doing distribution for artists that were not signed to RMG. So like I got to work with a lot of cool people like the John Keiths and Propaganda and there's a bunch of people that I just drawing a blank on, but it was really cool being able to learn about that. And Doc taught me a lot about like label, like label stuff, how things work behind the scenes, and just made me open up my eyes a lot to things that I wasn't aware of on the label side. Then my daughter turned, I think she had just turned 3, and I was like, I can't do this and the agency stuff at the same time. I was like, I need to take a step back. And he was like, I understand completely. And so I took a step back and went full time again with the agency. And basically, everything that Doc taught me marketing wise, I was able to offer that to our clients in the agency. And then Doc still worked with Q with public relations stuff for the label. Um, and then I started just doing, like you said, like the story you shared with me earlier, how you were just tired of people asking you the same questions over and over again. So you just started putting it on content. That's literally what I started doing. I just went on my TikTok one day. I didn't even like TikTok at the time. And I was like, let me just do something. And so I just started doing, and then I would like just watch like more and more people come in and like thank me for the stuff. And I got like a lot of consultations off of that. I got a lot of clientele off of that. Um, and then fast forward, we ended up moving because we were living at Woodbridge when that was happening. And so we moved to Richmond. We had no reason to move to Richmond. It was just like a God thing. Basically, I had a dream. He said, come to Richmond. I'm like, no, I don't want to. And he was like, okay. And I told Q, I was like, Q, I think we need to move to Richmond. He's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, listen, I don't want to either, but I don't know. We moved to Richmond and we're still doing the work that we do and we got heavily involved with church. And then we started, you probably know most recently, we started working with like Aliens Alive, which is Rodney Jerkins' label, which has been a blessing. And the friend that referred us to him was her name is Jennifer Austin. She's an artist and soon to be label owner soon.
Mm.
She's going to be running her own label. And and then it's crazy. I went from like doing marketing because I was heavily involved in like marketing and admin, project management for like label stuff.
Hmm.
And then I think it was like it's going on a year now. Social media management
Mm.
just started like becoming really popular amongst our clients. Like they were needing stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so actually it's going on 2 years, I lied. Because I was doing a lot of social media management for a nonprofit um organization in DC. Old friend of ours named Yusha Assad, he was like, hey, would you be willing to do this? And I'm like, yeah. So I got to work with him for about a year. I did social media management for uh, uh what is it called? They call themselves buddies. So basically, like this guy, he goes to people's homes in Virginia and helps them grow their own cannabis plants. So I helped him with his social media management with that.
Wow.
And then there was another, but yeah, so that got really popular. And then started working with Aliens Alive for their social media management. Q runs their public relations stuff. And then Rodney asked me to do his, which is pretty, has been very fun. And then Legend, another CHH artist out of Virginia Beach. I run his social media management. And another nonprofit, which is a women's conference at a church here in Virginia, called Flavor. So
Nice.
yeah, long story that I tried to condense, but yeah.
That's no, that's awesome. I what I hear in that is I hear a lot of I hear a lot of hard work. I hear a lot of just passion for not just what you do, but for people. Um,
Hmm.
and also obviously in that a lot of faith
Oh yeah.
because we know like like you can have people that are talented, right? But just because you're talented doesn't mean you're going to go to the places that you believe that you're going to be in. It takes you stepping out on things that you can't necessarily see all the time. Even when you mention like, hey, having just $25 in the bank account, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's not I laugh because as like creative people, we do things that like the normal person would be like, you are insane. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
Like,
It's literally crazy faith. Whenever I hear those two words, I'm like, yep, that's us.
yep, yep.
And and like how you I loved how when me and you were talking before this started recording, how you were like, yo, I didn't get to where I'm at now, like mentally, like being content.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to where like I wasn't just like I woke up one day and I'm like, I got crazy faith. Like, no. I'm naturally an anxious depressive person. Like
Hmm.
I'm very anxious. I get depressed easily. Like no.
Yeah.
So what you heard from like the last 15 years, like
Mm-hmm.
it's been a journey mentally.
Mm.
And we didn't hit really that crazy faith as far as like being obedient to what God has us doing now until maybe about like 3 years ago.
Mm. Yeah.
The other times that you heard of me sharing, that was like, yeah, thanks God, but that's because I did it. Like you gave me the gift, and I'm stewarding the gift
I was
well,
grinding. Yeah.
but I was just
Yeah.
grinding. Like
Yeah.
forget sleep. Like no, that's not what God wants us to do. He doesn't want us to lose sleep. He doesn't want unless like he's wanting us to pray or something. But yeah. So
That's interesting. I wanted to ask you something in regards to like the marketing space, the social media, like especially when we're
yeah,
talking about artists,
yeah.
because what is a common theme or maybe even a mistake that you notice amongst artists when it comes to uh, their music and how they present it to the world?
Can you repeat that? Because you kind of disconnected a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem. What's like a common either theme or mistake that you see artists making when it comes to like presenting their music to people or the world?
Common theme. They give up too easily.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I felt that one.
They
Yeah,
give up way too easily. Like, okay, so I'll give you an example because I'm better with like just like a picture in your mind.
sure. Yeah,
So
let's
I
go.
had I had a former client and they needed like strategy. Like, hey, I don't have that much engagement on my socials. I barely get streams. Like, I need you to help me put together a plan for my release that I have coming out. I got you. I put out the plan. We were like, I'm working with them 2 months ahead, which is still not enough time, in my opinion. I feel
Yeah,
like you need to have at least like 4 or 5 months before.
yeah.
But 2 months lead time. So I put together this strategy and they're all pumped up. And then release day comes, right? They put up their post. A week passes by. Nothing. 2 week passes by, nothing. And I'm like, hey guys, I made you guys like a strategy for like 3 times a week. Like, you need to post at least 3 times a week. You need to talk about this stuff on your stories. You need to show up on your live. You need to be doing
Mm-hmm.
something at least once a day and then just have one day of rest each
Mm-hmm.
week. And crickets. And then when we come back to like discuss how everything went, they were like, yeah, I didn't really see that many streams. I didn't really get that much engagement. I'm like,
Yeah.
because you gave up.
Yeah.
Like you just posted that one time and you thought you only had to post another time and then that was it. No.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to be sold to. They want to join in on the journey with you. They want to know how something is made. They want to know why something is made. They want to know your story. They want to know what how they can relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only posting once or twice and then you feel discouraged because you don't get the results you want and then that's it, it's not gonna, it's just, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's probably a little bit in kind of like the world that we're in, that instant gratification, piece. Like, well, and you know what's crazy about that, what you said about the quitting too early? I think it's I think I find it funny. I don't know if it applies to all artists, but it definitely there's a percentage. I think it's easy for some to quit because they never really invested that much in it.
Talk about it.
See,
Yes.
I'm just because I know that if I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this record, right? Like whether you pay for studio time or you pay for your own equipment, you got someone to mix and master it, you had someone do the album artwork, the single artwork, you
Yeah.
got someone to help you with the strategy. You didn't put in all this time to just quit.
Well, not just
'Cause-
that. You know what also makes them end up messing themselves up is
Mhm,
these distribution companies. Like I love DistroKid, love
mhm,
TuneCore, love all of them.
right.
They make it seem like it's so easy. Oh, all you gotta do is upload your music, and all you gotta do
Mhm,
is just hit this button, and then your
yeah,
music is out, and then all you gotta do is just show up on social media, and then you're a star. No, it doesn't work like that.
at all. Yeah.
Doesn't. Like you have to like it's just it's not a get rich quick scheme, or not a scheme, but it's not a get rich quick type of situation. It's like you have to have a reason why, a purpose. And if you don't, and again, like you said, blood, sweat, and tears, and like the money behind it. Like if you actually had full investment into it, you wouldn't
Mhm,
just like let it die off.
right. Right. There's no way. There's
That
I've
also that makes me wonder, how much are you actually paying for your music to be made, right? And
mhm.
then let's go down to the the topic of when people like, oh, they let me record in their studio for free. Nothing's for free.
That's a trap. That's
It
a
is a
trap.
trap because when
Yeah.
you record in somebody else's studio, they own everything that you just recorded there.
Mhm.
So if they see that you're doing well and you paid $0 and you don't have an agreement that agreed that they agreed to you paying $0,
Mhm.
they can come back and say that that belongs to me now that they see
Mhm.
that you're doing well.
Mhm.
That's why I
Yep.
always tell
Yep.
artists, even if you got to spend only $5, tell them, hey, I appreciate you letting me do it for free, but at least let me put something into it.
Right. Yeah. You
But
got to
yeah,
protect yourself. You got to protect
yeah,
yourself. You got to protect your art and what you're doing. Uh funny enough when we talk about that and artists making sure that they're investing in themselves, um I think a part of that is also because there were, let's say, just say years ago, I'm not even gonna put a number. Years ago, there used to be so much gatekeeping that
yes.
now, because like it's easier to say get a microphone, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
easier to hop on a program and record. I think in almost like this effort to make people know that it's okay that you can create too. I think we
Mm-hmm.
also then got the mentality that everything in the process is easy,
Oh
like
yeah.
everything, and that's just not the case. Like even performing, like if you don't come up to the stage with a plan, it is not gonna go how you think it is.
Oh my gosh, and not just that, like it goes down to like knowing the exact music that you're going to use for a live performance.
Yes.
Like people think that all their music is great for a live performance. No, you have to actually have an actual strategy of how you're going to be performing to your audience. Like it's just like there's so much that goes into it. But like you said, it's just a place of privilege though.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it comes from a place of privilege. Like a lot of times people just they feel like they deserve it.
Mm,
It like they're good, so it should just work out.
right. Right.
Like I heard somebody say, I got the talent, like that's not a problem. And it's like talent's not enough.
at
You need to
all.
actually you need to have like a business plan behind it. Because other than that, it's just gonna be an expensive hobby.
That's true. Oh, that's facts. And what's funny enough is like something that we don't always consider is there is a bit of trust that you have to build in order to build that community. Like
Mm-hmm.
like the example I love to use is like imagine there was a cell phone company that came out that was brand new, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they had all the features of any iPhone. It doesn't matter if it's Apple, Android. They got all the features, and it's cheaper, and it's cheaper
Yep.
than. But guess what? Most people would still stick to what they know because there's trust that's been built. Some certain people only buy Nike shoes. They only get a certain brand. They because there's trust that's been built over time. And if
Yeah.
you and if these people that you're trying to reach already have their top 4 to 5 artists that they listen to every single day, you have to build trust to get into that circle.
Yes.
You just can't just show up and yeah, I'm here because they're gonna look at you like who are you? I'm sorry, who? Like
Yeah.
even those that are your family and friends, like they have things that they trust, and they may know you, and they may feel like you're talented, and may feel like, oh, she's got a nice voice, or okay, he can really rap. You have to, there is still some showing and proving, within that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Artists
Yeah.
wake up, artists wake up. It's okay, we got you.
I get it though. I'm a creative too. Like before like anything else, I get it. It's
Yeah,
because a lot of times Q has to remind me like how to think with a business mindset and stuff. But yeah, like at the end of the day, like you got to pay rent. You, there's been a few times where we have literally turned down artists or clients that have come up to us with money in their hands to give
hmm,
to us, and we're like, no, because you're gonna pour money into us. You're not going to follow the strategy that we give you. You're not going to follow the instructions that we give you. You're going to end up empty handed. We're going to be good,
right.
but you're not. And
Hmm.
how does that serve us at the end of the day? Because we want to make sure that artists that come to us, they're serious, they're easily coachable, they follow instructions, they are hardworking, they take constructive criticism well. We want them to keep coming back. We don't want them to end up being broke and then they can't do anything and then now they can't pay for their mortgage or their rent and for
Yeah,
food. Like, what's the point of that?
right.
A lot of times, like me and Q are like, man, we're just grateful like we end up coming across a lot of people's paths because we've helped like a lot of people wake up to that reality, like, oh snap, I need to just stop pouring money into something and I'm not getting any return on it.
Hmm.
It's really like it's I mean, you know, the music industry can be your entertainment industry as a whole. It's like could just be a money suck.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh, they'll take that money happily. Like,
hmm. Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah. It's like credit card companies. Yeah, keep
mhm.
spending money with us. And then you go into debt and you gotta file bankruptcy.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I think we talked about it before we hit record, but the word content, it's got to
Yeah.
matter. Like it's cool to yes, like when you hop on YouTube and you type in how to do this, right? That
Hmm.
influencer you see is going to use that brand new plugin, that brand new guitar, that brand new
Hmm.
whatever. But like if you're honest, do you need that right now? Where you are in your career currently, do you
Yeah.
need that right now? Instead of me buying a brand new microphone that's going to cost me possibly rent or my cell phone bill, like how about I use the one that I already have? Just it
And this
just
is a great segue. How do you know where to spend your money first? What do you need first, right? Because
yeah.
a lot of times, like, and I'm sure you're gonna do a separate interview with Q, but I know the one thing he's gonna say in your interview with him is public relations is a luxury service, which means you don't have to have it in order to succeed. It's
Yeah,
just a bonus, right?
yeah.
So, what are the things that you want to start? And I talk about this a lot in my content. Um, you first need to start spending money on the simple things like website, You need to start spending money on, if you're able to spend money on equipment, please get equipment. If you know how to work it, get the equipment yourself. Do it at your home. Like, client of mine is building a studio in his garage right now, and it looks amazing. And now he gets to have, it gets the ability to do content and music 24/7 now. He doesn't have to pay other people for it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the ability to run your own studio, then you need to find a studio that you can build a partnership with. Speak to the owner and be like, hey, do you have a thing where I could pay a package a month or a subscription a month to where I could come in anytime and just record?
Mm-hmm.
And like once you have like those small things that you're paying for like listed out on your budget, then the next thing is, okay, I got the content now, I got the music now. Now I need to spend it on marketing.
Yeah.
So, website, studio, videographer, photographer, if you can't do those things yourself. And then, of course, programs if you're doing it yourself. Then marketing.
Mm.
But don't come to a person doing marketing or running the marketing for you or ads, even because marketing and ads are two different things. But if you're having somebody do both, don't wait until last minute to come to them like a week before your release is coming out. Like, you need to
Yeah.
come like months in advance, preferably.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then after you do the marketing for like 90, 220 days, if everything is working out with the person, then that's when you can see like, okay, are my numbers there to the point where I could use public relations, where I could use uh more ads for these video releases and different things like that.
Right.
Um so like, yeah, marketing should come number two, public relations number three. Um like, yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
obviously the music content, like one, like you guys,
oh yeah,
we,
that's
we
number one. You
guys,
can't do marketing in public relations without it.
thank you. Thank you. We can't do anything to help you if you don't have content. Like that is the that is literally
That
like
is the number one thing you
I,
need.
it is like me attempting to give you like this beautifully wrapped gift and you open the box and there's no gift. Like there's no
Listen, there's been a lot of time, like when me and Q were just starting out, that happened to us a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We would love to work with you. This is our rate. Then once we get paid and we're ready to work, oh, we don't have it done yet.
yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So now we do a thing where like you have to pay a consultation with us first. And I talk about that too. Before you hire anybody for marketing or public relations or anything else that you're bringing anybody onto,
Mhm.
do a consultation first.
Mhm.
Make sure you're on the right track. Make sure this is what you want to do. Consultations are either free to almost nothing compared to what a retainer, a monthly retainer, or a campaign would be.
Right.
So, and if you're paying for a free consultation, you're probably not going to get that much out of it. You're probably going to, the usual, uh, um, they'll give you like a really good piece of like information, and then they'll be like, if you
Mhm.
want more, all you gotta do is spend da da da
Mm.
da.
Mhm.
They're just gonna tell you they're just gonna tell you something that's gonna make you grab your attention and not really give you anything that you can work with.
Right.
So usually like you want to look at find somebody that would charge like $50 to like whatever an hour for a
Mhm.
consultation. I used to do $50 an hour, and then like the demand got so high that now me and Q, we do our consultations like $500 for the hour, but sometimes we'll lower it for somebody that's like really serious and they
Mm.
want to get started. Um, but yeah, that
Yeah.
with my consultations, I always make sure like you're getting all the gems and you're walking away with like a briefcase of stuff to use. So then if you don't have the money to work with somebody long term, you at
Mm.
least have like a good load of things that you can have to like work on and
That's good.
use for
That's good.
free. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and if you're gonna do that, like to add on to that, something that I've learned in personal experience with consultations, like come in with questions. Like come in like ready
Yes.
to go because if I'm paying for this consultation with you, I mean, and I don't ask you any questions, I'm not really applying any
Hmm.
pressure to you at all. It's like, oh, okay, so we hopped in this call for a little while. All right, I got paid.
Hmm.
I guess I'm good. Whether I got something like guys come in there with a plan. Like what are your needs? Like
Yeah.
what are expectations? Who are people that they've worked with in the past?
Yeah.
Like timelines. If we're working on a song or whatever, like ask questions because
Yeah.
you're investing in them like so you've got to ask some questions and again you said this is about business like yes the music matters but this really is about the business.
Yeah. 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 It's and this stuff really does work, like consistency, having a budget, all that. Like it really does work because I literally was just talking to a couple people earlier today about like two artists. One artist that I worked with like about a year ago, he literally took everything I taught him and he's
Mm,
been running with it. He's got like really amazing situation with a major distribution company now. He's
mm,
doing well. He's providing for his family for it, like all of it, right? And then there's another artist that I recently coached, and for a while like it was just like they just were not understanding and they just were not engaging and they
mm,
were getting frustrated. But then all of a sudden one day it just clicked for them. They finally started taking the advice I was giving them
mhm,
and they've been engaging with their fans. They've been literally making their fans feel included in the whole thing. And now they're getting like thousands upon thousands of streams a day on a recent single that they got out.
mm. That's awesome.
All because they finally started being consistent and engaging like I had been teaching them.
That's awesome.
So it does work. But again, it could take anywhere from 90 to 120 days to where you start to see fruits of your labor coming up. And not like full grown fruit, like
Yeah.
just like seeds sometimes, and
Yeah.
you just need to be consistent.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know people hear it all the time, but yeah, it's literally it's be
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's not something you want to hear, but it's true. I mean,
Yeah, because it's hard work.
it is like sometimes and maybe it's just because like we always want to see the fruit of what we do, but the truth of it is like you said, like sometimes like you just have to trust and believe that that seed is growing even before it's broken ground yet. Like you
Yeah,
got to keep walking, you got to keep moving, and sometimes got like sometimes guys, the results or sometimes that thing to hold on to is maybe okay, I made a post today, I only got 10 likes, all right, but
yeah,
maybe I'm used to 5. All right,
yeah,
like it may have not been 500, but guess what? That's 5 more. Okay, I got to figure something out. Wait, I got 5 more than usual. Okay, maybe this is work. Like you have to start motivating yourself and saying like, hey, it's better than what I got last time. All right, hey, next week you hit 15 instead of that. Oh wait, 15? Wait a minute. Wait, we cooking a little bit. Okay,
yeah,
maybe it stalls for 3 weeks at that 15. It's
yeah,
okay. It is
yeah,
okay because it's still not 5. Like we still we got to be able to take the small wins and be okay
yeah.
with it, like taking those steps to slowly grow.
I mean, shoot, I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you saw because you do management yourself with socials. You saw like Instagram's new algorithm,
The changes and stuff. Yeah.
the changes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now they're saying that followers and likes are not really like a big deal. Like
Right.
if you really want to reach an audience that hasn't been tapped into yet, it's the shares, it's the bookmarks,
Hmm. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So and there's one more thing I want to touch on before,
For
because
sure.
I gotta get ready to wrap it up a little
Yeah.
bit. What was it? I just had a brain fart. Oh, database, fan database. Because we don't own these social media platforms.
Hmm.
Look what happened with TikTok. Everybody lost their
Freaked
minds.
out. Yep.
And guess what? You're gonna laugh at this. When I thought that TikTok was done for, I literally deleted it off my phone. Stupid decision I made. I just was like, I'm like an all or nothing person. Like I will cut cold turkey like
You either
that.
with
I
me
was
or
like,
you ain't. Like
I was like, no TikTok, no CapCut, don't need it anymore.
that's
Delete.
funny.
And then I heard it came back. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Hmm.
But thank God for Q, my husband, being such an old soul, and he moves so slow on things before he acts. He still has it on his phone. So I've been like doing
Mm.
work on there. I'm like, thank God. But I was really tempted to buy a phone on eBay with TikTok on it. So I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. But anyway.
That's funny. That's funny.
But no, so yeah, we don't own these platforms. So like my biggest thing that I love to tell artists is build your own fan database. And how do you do that? Well, there's a really dope company. Um uh this guy named Sean, he brought me up to speed with like this company called Forever Fan Music. And have you heard of them?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. Ooh, you're gonna like this. So Forever Fan Music, I'll send you the link. Um it basically helps these artists have this all in one platform. It's like a Linktree, MailChimp, um, and what's the other option? Uh, what's the texting app that people can use?
Oh, not mini chat. It's another one.
You know what I'm talking about,
I know
right?
what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what. Yes,
Superphone,
yes,
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, it's
yeah.
Superphone. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's Feature FM, Linktree, Superphone, and MailChimp all on one platform.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
Hmm.
And only for the price of 14.99. No, just kidding. But yes, it is affordable. And then like if you want to do the texting option, like the superphone option with Forever Fan,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's like a $6 upcharge, and then I think like they charge like up less than 1 cent per text or something like that. It's totally worth it, because I basically use it for Aliens Alive and a few other clients that might have been put. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna work with us, you got to use Forever Fan. Because my
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing that I'm going to touch on right now is like, you need to have your own database. You need to have emails. You need to have phone numbers, because one day your favorite social media platform that you got all these thousands of followers on is going to crash, or the
Mm-hmm.
government's going to try to shut it down, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or you
Mm-hmm.
could get hacked. How are you going to talk to your fans now that you just made through there?
Yeah.
You can't, because you
Yeah.
don't own it. Spotify, you don't know what emails, or Apple Music, you don't know what emails or phone numbers are subscribing to your music. Now
Mm-hmm.
you do. Because for this cool thing with Forever Fan is like they have this thing, which Feature FM has this feature also now. It's called Forever Save. Like once you pre-save once, it'll pre-save all of your future releases.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do that annoying pre-save campaign with people that artists were always complaining about.
Yeah.
So Forever Fan also does that. And so whenever people pre-save, it automatically grabs the person's email and phone number, um, through Spotify and Apple. And so now you're able to talk to these people directly that started following your Spotify page and your Apple page for
That's dope.
music. Yeah. So again, if something was to crash, you now could contact them through email or texting or both.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope.